Statements and councillors, firstly I'd like to read out a webcast statement. This council meeting will be webcast and I remind all those present that their words and actions will be broadcast to a wider audience and certain conduct is unacceptable and will not be tolerated. Should any person not wish to be recorded, I advise they should leave the meeting room prior to any statements being made. Any defamatory statements made are not the position of the council and remain an individual's opinion. Council accepts no responsibility for any defamatory statements and all liability remains with the person making the remarks. And our acknowledgements of country. I would like to acknowledge the Gamilaroi people who are the traditional custodians of this land. I would also like to pay respect to elders past and present and extend that respect to other Aboriginal people present here today. And our prayer, Almighty God, we humbly beseech Thee to vouchsafe thy blessing upon this council, direct and prosper our deliberations to the advancement of Thy glory and the true welfare of the people of the Regional Council and Australia. Amen. Amen. Thank you, councillors. I'd like to declare the meeting officially open. First item on the agenda is apologies and leave of absence, and we are all in attendance with Councillor Betts joining the meeting on video conference. Welcome, Councillor Betts. And we have no leave of absence tendered. Item 2 is community consultation. We have no consultation from the community in this instance. Item 3, disclosures of interest. Is there any councillors have any disclosures they wish to tender? If not, that brings us to the item of today, item 4.1, and I'd like to put that motion, councillors, and I believe it's fairly explanatory. We've had a couple of just minor revisions, which they're just tidy up provisions on the screen, set out in yellow. So, councillors, I put that motion and open the floor for debate. Councillor Inglis.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. The additional amendment that you put through, is that included? You've added it, yes. So we're dealing with both matters. Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, look, there are a couple of sections there just needed a few changes, and I think they're all in there. Item 5, I think, Mr. Director, we've now got inclusion of, if we can just go up there. I think it's important that we just make it clear that whilst we're removing those car parking fees, I think we should include those words that the time restrictions will remain in place. So everyone's absolutely clear, because you can interpret that as in you stay there as long as you want, so to speak, and we don't want that. Roman numeral 10, just making that clearer that in fact, because you can't technically have a zero interest rate, but we are allowed to write off accrued interest in accordance with that section, so that's all good, makes that nice and clear. And we've changed the date of the council meeting, that's the 23rd, it's the 24th. And if we can go down to the Mayor's amendment, just want to talk briefly to that. I think this is an important one, Mr. Mayor, but also one that doesn't absolutely carry zero risk. It's a tricky area, some of these charges as to whether what they're called is whether it's against the land. There's case law on this sort of stuff, but I think that amendment, subjecting it to a legal agreement, and that it is a charge due and payable under section 603. That's about as far as we can go with the legal side of it, but it'll get down to ensuring that legal agreement, Mr. Mayor, is ironclad, and so that if it ever does become an issue, and it may not, but it is possible. Mr. Mayor, so I'll support those changes and that recommendation. But just to make a brief comment, Mr. Mayor, as we all know, businesses have fixed expenses, and we are in unbelievable times, there's no doubt about that. And for many businesses, if they don't have some savings, I have no doubt that we're going to have some businesses that are simply unsustainable and will financially collapse. As we know, the federal and state governments have provided a wide range of stimulus packages to keep businesses viable, but local government needs to play its part as well. It is disappointing that local government's been left out of the JobKeeper package, and I really believe we should be giving up on that. I don't understand that, particularly where councils can identify business units where in fact the 30% threshold will absolutely be met, because we do control a lot of businesses. They're obviously just seeing one whole thing, water and sewer. They're businesses, they're even categorised as businesses by law. So I think there's plenty of room to move there. Mr. Mayor, I do believe as a council we're going to have to start scenario planning effects on our cash flow. We don't know yet the impact of that, but looking at some work being done recently, you've got councils like the City of Sydney estimating about 75 million impact on their cash flow, Campbelltown 12 million, Inner West 18 million. They're large numbers, and when you consider that in relation to cash flow, that could have some serious impacts on the financial viability of those councils. And my guess is, you know, it's all relative, but clearly we're going to have similar pro-rata impacts on us. So we will need to start scenario planning those impacts, because I guess we'll be starting to sit down and do our budget shortly. And Mr. Mayor, I also believe that we need to think seriously as part of our budget considerations, and I really encourage staff to come forward with scenarios that I think we'll even need to be thinking about things like a zero rate increases for the next financial year, because this is clearly going to go on for at least 6 months, and I think we should give those sorts of things serious consideration. But we need to know what that means in relation to impact. So thanks, Mr. Mayor. My last comment is, I just want to foreshadow a notice of motion, or I might sit down and have a chat with you, Mr. Mayor, and you might like to do it as a Mayoral minute. I believe we need to start thinking about for want of a better term, I see the Prime Minister use the word snapback or something the other day, but a bounce back Tamworth working group. In other words, a group of people sitting down and starting to think about what we need to do when this is over. So I'll have a chat to you about that. I don't want to confuse it with your motion today, but I really think that recovery phase, we need to sit down. We've got, what, 5,500 registered businesses. If we can get a representative sample of them in the not-for-profit sector and get some people sitting away in back rooms thinking about the recovery phase. So bounce back Tamworth, Mr. Mayor. I look forward to having a chat to you about that.
Thank you, Councillor Inglis. Are there any councillors wish to speak against the motion? Any other councillors wish to make comment? Councillor Webb? Councillor Webb, I called you first.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I support it as it is. Particularly that last one, where we will be having to do deals with some perhaps developers that have got banks of land out there that have put forward their plans to develop those particular blocks and had to pay headworks charges. They borrow that money, and it's part of their holding costs for that land, and they budget that into their costs when they're going to develop the land. They sell the blocks, so the people who buy the blocks into the future will be actually paying the interest that they have to pay on those particular loans. So I've always been a bit opposed to this, because I think that's a cost that should be paid when the land is sold and ready for use. Because we take that money from them, we put it in our bank, and we collect interest on it. Now, in today's charges, we're probably collecting 1.7, maybe 1.6 to 1.8% interest, somewhere in there. These guys that are having to borrow that money are probably paying between 3.9 to 5%, depending on the risk levels that the bank is sitting with that particular development and the amount of borrowings they've got against that development. So they're paying quite a lot more interest than what we'd be getting down here. So it's a negative as such for them. I think it's a negative for the city, because it makes those blocks of ground dearer in the long term. Not by much, but by a little bit. So I think doing this is something we should, you know, I think we should have done this years ago, but we're not allowed to. I think this is a very good way of helping those developers continue to hold that land with you know, and minimising some of their borrowing, some of those holding costs to the best ability that we can. And I think that will help us into the future. It will help them into the future, but it will help the city into the future. So I think that's a good thing. The rest of it, support it 100%. I like Councillor Inglis's idea about the recovery stuff. I think we do need to be in front of it. Tamworth Regional Council has always been a council that seems to be a step ahead and thinking ahead. It's been like that for a long, long time. And I think that Councillor Inglis is a stepping, he's looking ahead and looking forward. And we need to be on the front foot when this recovery does start, because the recovery is going to come. This will go, and we need to recover. And people will be wanting to recover as quickly as possible to get back on their feet. It might be a soft recovery, it might be a slow recovery, but we need to get that happening as quickly as possible. So if we had a group similar to that, and I'll be interested to hear what the conversations are between you, Mr Mayor, and Councillor Inglis about how that recovery group might look. But I think that'll be fantastic, and it'll support 100% what you've got here in your recommendation today. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Rodan.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. From the outset, I'd just like to say I fully support what Councillor Inglis said in relation to rates moving forward. I think our ratepayers will be in a very difficult position. And I realise that then subsequently puts us in a very difficult position too, but I think it's something that, as Councillor Inglis mentioned, it'd be good to know the numbers and the implications of that on our operations for the 2020, 2021 year and ongoing years after that. Mr Mayor, we heard the recent drought was unprecedented, and we heard the recent fires were unprecedented, and for all of us in this room, this pandemic is unprecedented. This package of relief we have been asked to consider has raised a whole range of issues that go beyond refunding builders and developers during this time of crisis. While a few people might like to believe that I'm anti-development, it is simply not the case. I'm pro-equity, pro-fairness. Now we have been forced to draw our attention to this issue. It highlights the fact that you can have as many big and bold plans as you like, but without attention paid to the finer details of practical implementation of these plans involving all levels of government, then they are nothing more than hot air masquerading as activity without actually achieving anything. Just like the much vaunted 100,000 population plan, what good is it to have such a goal if we run out of water? Although I acknowledge the weekend's good rains have put Chaffey at 14.1%. But what good is it if we have an overarching plan at the same time as having a whole bunch of counterproductive little plans that are in direct conflict with the big plan, either through our own myopic vision and bad implementation as a council, or having them forced upon us by equally myopic and out-of-touch governments above us? The Chaffey Dam water release policies of the state government during the 2017 to 2019 water years being a classic example. These upfront development charges are in exactly the same boat. Now, why would I say that? If council really wants a 100,000 population policy, wouldn't we, as a council, be trying to do everything in our power to encourage as much development as possible from as many different players as possible? The upfront development charges are a direct disincentive to this stated policy aim, and not just for big developers who have the size and scale to be able to afford to pay these charges up front. What about mum and dad developers who might want to do smaller developments? These upfront charges make it much harder for them, and over the years, that is where I hear the criticism. We don't have a level playing field, or council is a closed shop. Other local government regions have been known to allow development charges to be paid once the land is sold, instead of upfront. Why can't we? And now, as this health crisis unfolds and reveals itself to be an economic crisis, the likes of which we probably will never see in our lifetime, we are going to be in direct competition with other local government areas who will be screaming out for investment, capital, to keep their economies going, to provide the jobs that will be sorely needed by the working families of our region in the near future. But the world has changed in the last month, and I contend we must now do whatever is possible to ease the burden for our local businesses and ratepayers. Information circulated in the lead up to this meeting assert that allowing this motion to pass will not materially impact on our budget position over the longer term. The point of virtually nil interest on this deposited money in council bank accounts is the point well taken. If that is the case, then why don't we make this motion a permanent measure for the reasons I've outlined above, already outlined and have been advocated for by the executive. We need to help our local businesses with their cash flow, which will help protect the jobs of our ratepayers and allow more money to circulate in our local economy. Furthermore, we need this incentive as a competitive advantage over local government areas going forward, long after the health crisis is averted. So let's make this measure permanent. Therefore, I would like to move an amendment to this amendment to include that this be a permanent, dot point 15, that this be a permanent emergency measure for our small and large businesses for the foreseeable future as our local economy suffers the vicissitudes of greater world economic calamities.
Thank you, Councillor Rodham. So I take that you're proposing an amendment. Do we have somebody to second that amendment? Councillor Rodham, just before I actually put a motion to receive the amendment, I think there'd be I guess from myself, I'd like to understand more the actual implications on the operations of the council. A lot of these section charges traditionally, and particularly in areas of new land release, are actually very important revenues that council needs to provide for things like water mains, sewer mains, supplies to particular areas. And I would like to understand the implications that might be imposed by considering this almost on the spur of the moment without support information. So I guess that would be my consideration to your amendment. But councillors, do we have anyone to second the motion?
Mr Mayor, I'd be happy to, but I think what we need to do, if we're going to make this a permanent measure, I think that's a great idea. But we do need to have, if we're going to do that, we need to sit down, have a workshop on it, have a report on it. So I support what Mark's saying, and I think if he was to change his amendment to ask that there be a report come to the council following the workshop, so that we are actually going to discuss this. We say that we are going to discuss this into the future. I tend to agree with you too, because I think we can't just do this off the bat. We need to know exactly what the implications are going to be, because I actually support what Mark's saying, and I think that we need to really have a serious look at it. But I think to do it now is probably not professional in the way that we haven't got all the facts in front of us. So I think to do it now is probably not the right way of going about it, but I think we do need to consider that in the future with some workshopping and some council reports following all of this pandemic and getting back into how we might operate in the future. I have to say that operating in the future is going to be a lot different to what we've experienced in the past. So this might not be the only thing that we're going to be looking at to see some changes with.
So, councillors, we still don't have a seconder for the amendment. I'll ask a final time. Did you actually?
No, I said I would like to second it, but I would like to see it changed, that we're not actually putting that as part of this report. It depends on the mover of the motion. I mean, we could call for, if the mover was happy to call for consideration of this as a permanent measure following the end of the pandemic, that's fine. And I'd support that, but I don't want to support something just at the moment without going.
Yes, could I ask the General Manager?
Mr Mayor, with Councillor Rodham's consent, maybe it's as simple as just putting on the end of the existing dot point 15 and that Council receive a detailed report on whether this can be made a permanent consideration into the future. So we'll bring back a detailed report. There are some significant issues that need to be investigated. One of them is that developer charges are often a market regulator, in that you don't want the market to become flooded with land availability, which makes the whole bottom fall out of the market, which then makes it uneconomic for people to then go ahead and develop land because they can't get an economic return. So if there was no developer charges up front, everybody would just say, well, I just want to subdivide my blocks. I'm not going to have to pay anything to the council to have it subdivided and ready for sale, and I'm not going to have to pay those charges until somebody else that comes in physically buys my land, which would mean then the actual value of land, because of this massive availability, would probably make it economic for developers to do it. So I just think we need to consider those broader economic considerations. It could end up being, it might be 50% waiver until the blocks are sold. It just needs some detailed analysis to support it, rather than in this current situation, which is we're offering this subsidy or this reimbursement because there's no land being sold at the moment. Very, very few blocks of land. So these are genuine holding costs, where previously the market would have indicated a release of land would have been sold over a particular period of time, and as Councillor Webb said, they would have built into their budget that they would have expected to sell those land over 12 months, 18 months, or whatever it might be. The fact that it's now not selling is what is the major cash flow issue for these particular businesses. Once the market picks back up and land is being turned over, it's not such an issue. So more than happy to go away and bring back a very detailed report around what that might look like into the future. But I don't think it should be built into this recommendation.
Well, I'll withdraw.
Yes, and I'm happy to have that inclusion as part of the recommendation. Thank you. Councillor Betts.
Thank you, Mayor. I must say that this was the newsroom. This is public performance underneath that. And I totally agree with that. All comments that was just made previously by the other members, and I just support the process Councillor Roberts looking forward. It does need to be researched, and it's going to be something that we're really going to do a lot of work into. I won't go over any of the other grounds that the councillors indicate. One thing I would suggest is that the rate of recovery, and they expect the councillor Inglis was related to that. One of the things I think we really don't want to lose sight of is not only economically bouncing back, but socially bouncing back. And we have to have a very sound strategy to bring the community as a social entity, and I think that's probably almost as important as the financial aspect of the recovery. So with that, Mr. Mayor, yes, that's I just want the recommendation, and that'll do for me.
Thank you. Any other comments? Councillor Wilson?
Mr. Mayor, I agree with everything we're doing here, and I particularly agree with point 15 and with what Councillor Rod is saying. My thought is that as this epidemic progresses, Council as a body will come to look at a lot of actions we've got in place and decide that we could probably do them better or differently into the future. But I don't like accepting spontaneously to things as they come up, but rather take note of what comes up, and at the end of this, whenever that is and whatever form it comes in, then we review many of the policies that have come up, because I think not only council but the whole town, the whole country will review the way business is done, the way government's done, the way individuals function, the way workplaces function, and so there won't be doing one at a time seems very inefficient, because we're going to have other issues that impact on one another. So I'd certainly like us to keep a record of things that indicate that they can be done in a better way, and this is certainly one of those. Apart from that, Mr. Mayor, it's a difficult time. It's difficult for councils, not only our council, all councils. We're probably in a better position than many, and I'd just like to say how well the community is responding to the situation and the way they've accepted the changes that councils had to make, because they're not easy, in top of other things. The other thing is, Tamworth Council's got a history of being proactive and showing initiative, and bounce backs are well-turned attitude, and it's actually a whole program, but I think we've got the ability to do that, but we need to do it in a systematic and organised way rather than a reactionary way. I certainly do, and I spoke to this earlier, agree with there being no formula CPI increase in the rates this year. I think that makes sense, and in whatever way that can happen, I'd like to see us work on that.
Thank you. Councillor Impey?
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Councillor Wilson touched on a few points I wanted to make, but we are all going through a lot of change at the moment. I think business and industry, learning and education, and local government will go through an enormous amount of change, and some of our practices will change as a result of the pandemic. And as we travel down that timeline of change, as we make our way past the pandemic, I think we will realise how those changes will unfold. One particular part of the report I'm particularly interested in are the reviews that will be happening, a review of current works, a review of the donations program, and a review of the procurement policy. That information will come before us as time goes on. I guess some of the current works that might be reviewed, whereby some labour hire companies and some local employment might be included, which I think is a very, very well thought out part of the report, by the way. Could be the paths and cycleways and so forth. I mean, we have funding that has come through state government for extra paths and cycleways, and that could be a great example where we work more with the community, with people who have been sadly or unfortunately laid off. And I think it's an important area to consider in terms of the procurement policy, the weighting to works from local businesses. I think we might be, obviously, the information that will come forward from that review process will tell us more, but I guess deep down inside I've always been a fan of local businesses being utilised, particularly if they have the skills and they're competitive enough in pricing and so forth. And I think this certainly says that there has been a lot of consideration in this report, just not only on what's before us, but what potentially could come before us in the future.
Thank you. Councillor Maxwell.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, there's not a great lot left to be said, but what I like about this report, it's addressed the unintended consequences. And I think that's very important. As much as I like what Councillor Rodder said, I wouldn't have been prepared to back that today because we don't know what the unintended consequences of that decision would be. So the compromise that's been put there, I think is very good, and I wholeheartedly support what we're doing, what's proposed. And I think it's important that as a council we show leadership in this field as the other two levels of government are doing their bit. And I think it'd look a bit one-sided if we weren't prepared to share that pain, and obviously there will be pain for every one included. So I'm fully in support of the motion.
Thank you. Any final discussions? Councillor Tickle.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just further to what has been said, I think it is very important to be working with businesses and the community into the future. And I hope that we're able to, I hope we will be the recipients of significant stimulus money. And I think we need to keep the pressure up on governments at all levels, or both levels, state and federal, to make sure that we're not forgotten, because we are a major regional centre, and it is important. We saw that in the global financial crisis, how important it was to keep that stimulus money rolling. And the government can't forget us in these country communities, and it is important that that comes in. Business and the community are adapting very well to what's before us at the moment, and also, something else I think we should be looking at into the future, and I'm sure it will be raised by business, is our compliance and DA requirements and the time it takes to get those through, not just here, and you hear it over and over again because of the stringent and outdated laws that are imposed upon us, the legislative laws imposed by state government, Department of Planning. And I think that all of that has to be reviewed, and we need to keep the pressure up on all that, because that does, as we know, impose significant cost to business, and that holds up business, and we need to remove that. It's just been demonstrated during this crisis how quickly things can change overnight. We removed the curfew on deliveries. Wasn't that fantastic? We didn't have to have it on public display for a month. We didn't have to have community meetings, and on it goes. So, look, I think the public are going to be more acceptable of certain conditions as well, when we do make some changes. Hospitality is another example. All of a sudden, we can use kitchens for different purposes. Didn't have to go before council and be held up for months and to get public opinion and everyone's idea on the topic. It was just legislated and done. All of that helps business. So I think on all of this, we do have to consider what we are currently doing and what we can do better. And unfortunately, a lot of the things are imposed on us by state and federal governments, and they have to look and relax their bureaucracy. Councillor Rudd raised water, bureaucrats letting out all the water. You know, like there are so many things that are held up by governments and bureaucrats. And if we're genuine as a country to be helping businesses move forward and creating jobs for people, we've really got to look at some of this to free up this red tape and just to get business moving and rolling.
Thank you. Councillors, I don't have anything to add. I do appreciate the supportive comment, and I'd now like to put the motion. Those in favour?
Aye.
Those against? The motion is carried. And that brings us to a close, our meeting. Thank you very much for attendance, and thank you to those on the stream. Thank you.